Here we have the Dvar Malchut, the royal words of the Rebbe that he spoke on Beit Kislev in 19. This is right at the end of 1991. Yes, 1990. We're going into Tafshin Nun Beit. Yedua, it's known that every Rosh Chodesh, at the beginning of every Jewish month, Yesh Inyan, there is a general topic, Hameshutaf L'Kol HaChadashim, which is the same in every month. Kamudgash, which is stressed, the Kriyat Torah and learning the Torah and the prayer of Musaf. Musaf. In the time of the Holy Temple, there was the regular service of every day, but on special days, they would have a Musaf, an additional sacrifice would be made. And that was on all the holidays. It was on Shabbat and also on Yom Tov. And also on Rosh Chodesh. Also on Rosh Chodesh. The beginning of every month, the time was the temple was a holiday. It was like a holiday. And they had a Musaf prayer. Nowadays, we don't have the Holy Temple. We do have prayer. We don't have the sacrifices. We do have prayer. And prayer is in the place of the sacrifices until there's the third temple. So we have a prayer which is called Musaf, an additional prayer. The addition added on to the regular prayers. And this is something like the sacrifice of the day. It says in the Torah, it says on the first day of every month, which is the same thing as every month is the same. And there is a general thing, which is the first day of the month, and the sacrifices were exactly the same as every other first day of every other 12 months of the Torah. But every month in Judaism also has a special, unique personality, a shayach miyuchad that is special for that month, which is also indicated by the name of the month and the holidays which are in the month. Okay, now everything in the world is created by God, and everything in the world is created intentionally by God. It's not just created by science or by the laws of science. Excuse me, or by nature or by the Big Bang or whatever like that. All those things, it could be that all those things exist, but that's not important to us. What's important to us is that God is doing the whole business. He's creating everything, and he's creating everything with intention. Nothing is done automatically. And the intention is that man should appreciate God and improve the world accordingly. Ubedugma, like the month of this month and the holidays which are in it. I'm sorry that we said that. But Yesh Laboyer, let's explain. If so, what is so special about the month of Kislev? And also, what is the general topic of the first day of the month? What is the message that God wants us to learn from that? Prate the Rosh Chodesh Kislev, or the individual of the month of Kislev, in it is also Rosh Chodesh L'Kaman. Very interesting thing. There was Napoleon. He wanted to change the whole world. He didn't believe in God. He didn't believe in this stuff. He was going to make a human world, man's world. The whole world is not, it's not God's world, it's man's world. So he decided he's going to work on the calendar. Now, I would think that if a person said there's no such thing as God, so he would just do away with the calendar totally. He would just do away with the calendar. I don't know, maybe for convenience sake, meet me on this day, meet me on that day. So maybe that's because for business, maybe you have to have, yeah. Actually, maybe I sort of changed my idea about maybe for business, you have to meet me on this day, meet me on that day. Okay, so maybe I take back what I'm saying, because maybe for business. But as far as God goes, why do you have to have weeks? Why do you have to have days? Why do you have to have months? Why do you have to have that? Why do you have to have the whole business, right? Maybe for convenience sake. I didn't think about that. Maybe for convenience sake you do. But just every day, just as a day. You just live your life. Every day is just a day. Just whatever you have. No, it could be that that's what the anarchists would like, right? There's no business. communism. There's no business. There's no government. There's no deals. You don't have to just live every day. Every day you just live, right? I mean, it could be, let's say what about the primitive tribes? Huh? They have these primitive tribes in like New Guinea and all these weird places. Do they have calendars? Maybe not. Could be they don't have any. They don't have any business. Wait for me in 2 days. There's no such. However it is, the whole idea of giving names to the days and names to the months. There's no names to the weeks. Huh? Interesting. There's no names to the weeks. The first week of the giving names to them indicates something special is in a name, means there's something message there. There's a message there. So as the Rebbe says, in Judaism, there's a message, a definite message to all of the months. And interestingly enough, in the Torah, there are no names for the months. The names for the months only came in Babylon. The Babylonians gave a name for the months. And these months became adapted in Judaism. The Rebbe had a whole big speech about that. There's a lot of times the things God waits in the world. First of all, God works through the world, like a doctor, right? It's permissible for doctors to heal. It's permissible to have an army. You're supposed to have doctors. You're supposed to have an army. Why doesn't God do it on himself? So the answer is God certainly could do it on his own. Certainly he could do it. God heals people. God wins our battles. We pray every day. But God doesn't want to. He wants it to be done by means of doctors and by means of lawyers and by means of whatever it is. An army wants it to have an army. The same thing is the months. God wanted the months to be named by the Babylonians. That's what he wanted. In any case, after the names were given, so these names now have a meaning to Judaism. That's why we adopted them, because we realized that the Babylonians got it right. They revealed something which is true. Okay. So what about this month of Kislev that we're in? The connection to the main point, which is in the life of every Jew, Israel, and all the Jews for all the generations. What's the general point of our lives, the general purpose of why we were created? How do they always used to say, what is the meaning of life? The meaning of life is Kol Yamei Chayecha, all of the days of your life, Lahavi Liyamot Mashiach, to bring to the days of the Mashiach. And especially in our generation, and our period now that we are living in, like we have said many, many times, that all we have to do now, we've done all the work of our Nishlamu, has already been completed, all of the necessary suffering and work and etc. to bring Mashiach. Now all we have to do is accept the face of Mashiach, accept the arrival of the Mashiach. Accept. What does it mean, accept the arrival of Mashiach? We said so many times before, and I guess we'll say it again. Maybe we can't say it enough. Excuse me. Mashiach is going to be a person that's going to educate the whole world as to how good God is. How good God is, how true the Torah is, how infinitely correct is the interpretation, the explanation of the rabbis and the Talmud of what the Torah is. That's what Mashiach is going to do. He's going to bring the whole entire world to be aware of what God is, how good God is, how much we owe God, the Creator, and how the only way to repay Him is by doing what He wants. What does He want? To improve this world, to make this world perfect. And the only way to do that is through the Torah, and especially by the explanations that the rabbis gave of the Torah. If you don't have those explanations, then the Torah is worth nothing. So that's the idea of Mashiach. Mashiach is going to bring the whole entire world to the Torah and to perfection. There won't be any more wars. There won't be any more sickness. There won't be any more negative things in the world. No more addictions. No more the depression. No more this. No, there won't be any. Only good. Man will be free to be himself, be individuality. So the main thing of life is we have to bring to the days of the Mashiach. And the Rebbe said everything has already been done. So what do we have to bring? What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to accept. We're supposed to be ready for Mashiach. Treat it as though the world is in Mashiach times right now. No more depression, no more aggression, no more addictions, no more. You see there are these things around you, and you do your part. You can't change other people. You do your part. The Rebbe said everything is done. We just have to act normal. I know I gave the example a lot of times, but I'll give it again. It's like, grandpa gets in an automobile accident and the doctors work on him and they come out of the operation room and they say the operation was a success. You can see him, but he's in recuperation. You have to look through this window. Don't make any noise. Look through the window. And there's grandpa totally unconscious. He's being respirated and he has tubes and every possible aperture in his body. And he's got tubes and needles and things like that. And the family starts crying. And the doctor says, listen, you're right. It looks bad. But the fact is, it's going to get better. Maybe it'll take a day, maybe a week, maybe a year, maybe a minute. And what you have to do is act normally. Act as though he is healthy. Act as though he's already healthy. Because he's going to be healthy in another minute. That's right. So that's what the Rebbe is saying. The Moshiach is already here. Everything is already. You just have to, it's not revealed. Okay, it's a big question. Nevertheless, we have to act as though everything is the way it's. What does that mean? That the world, our life should go according to what the Torah says, and we should be positive in everything that we do, and ignore the darkness as much as possible. Change the world. Okay, this is what this month is telling us, especially. The general thing of this month, the general thing of every month is to bring Mashiach. Especially, and that's why it's called Rosh Chodesh. It's called the head of the month. Rosh Chodesh, the first day of the month, is not called the first day in Hebrew. It's not called Rishon HaChodesh or Chodesh Chadash or something like that. It's called Rosh Chodesh, the head of the month. Now, in America, they don't have anything like that because in America, the calendar has nothing to do with the moon. Nothing to do with the moon at all. It only has to do with the seasons, right? Nothing to do with the moon. And so in America, the winter months and the summer months, but the beginning of each month, there's no special time. Sometimes the beginning of each month, it can be, the moon can be full, the moon can be small. And the Judaism, the beginning of the month is always the moon is just starting to shine. It's just a little sliver. And therefore it's called Rosh Chodesh, the head of the month. Chodesh, the whole idea of Chodesh is renewal. Al Shem Achirush Tamol Lavana, because the moon is becoming renewed. It's like being born. That after it got less and less in the first half of the month, and then it starts getting better, higher. I'm sorry. That after the month goes and it gets less and less in the second half of the month. Now in the first half of the month, it starts off small and it gets bigger and bigger until it's great. Okay, so how does the moon go? The moon starts off nothing, then there's a little sliver, it gets bigger and bigger. And when it's at full moon, that's the middle of the month. In Judaism, the middle of the month. Then the month gets smaller and smaller, until it gets concealed totally. And that's the day before Rosh Chodesh. Then Nasit, the whole letter, then all of a sudden it gets born. Then it gets born in a way of hitchachut. It's like brand new. In the language of the Torah, nifkarata ki poked moshavecha. It says you were missing because, and that will draw attention to your place of sitting. It's a story with the whole story with King Saul. He hated David. He wanted to kill him. And King David said, he said to Jonathan, King Saul's son, he said, listen, your father hates me. He said, let's do it like this. We'll see if he hates you or not. This month, every Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of every month, the king would make a big festival, make a big meal, a feast, a big meal. And everyone had to come. King David also had to come. If King David was missing, would the king get mad or not? So he said, V'nifkarata, and you will be noticed, ki yipoked moshavecha, because your place will be empty. By means of King David not being there, yipoked moshavecha, then he paid attention to your dwelling place. So it's the nifkarata, you will be missing, ki yipoked moshavecha, then your place where you're sitting will be noticed. What was the thing? King David said, let's see if your father, King Saul, really hates me. I won't come. Let's see how he reacts. when King Saul notices my place is empty, nifkarata, then Yipokedi will draw attention to the place where I'm sitting. That'll draw his attention. Let's see how he reacts. That's what it says. So pakarata means the same word, means two opposite things. The word nifkarata means to be empty, and nifkad means to be noticed, to be there. It'll be noticed. But dugma ta'olam, like the world, helam like the concealment of the moon, is nasa zikaron, that as soon as the moon is gone, then the nifkarata, it's missing. But dugmas mola lavana, then all of a sudden it starts to be revealed again, and we pay attention to it. If the moon was always there, we wouldn't pay attention to it. Because the moon goes away, the nifkarata goes away, for pokeh, then it draws attention. Even though the giving the birth of the moon, who often is in a way of just a little point, but this is giving birth. Is everything after it. And now the Rebbe is going to talk about the miracle of birth. Birth. But dugmas is called Metzius Adam, like a person in the day when he's born. Well, the moment that a person is born, comes to the world, then that sets the whole tone for the rest of his life. Lochin, therefore, it's called the name Rosh Chodesh. It's called the beginning of the month. But dugmas a Rosh, like a head, shekola, that includes in it all of the person. Okamugdash, like it's stressed, and Rosh Hashanah. The Jewish people also have a holiday, New Year's Day, first day of the year. It's not called New Year's Day. It's called the head of the year. It's not called the new year. It's called the head of the year. Shehu gam Rosh Chodesh, the Jewish New Year's Day is always the beginning of a month also. It's the beginning of the month of Tishrei. So it's Rosh Chodesh Tishrei. Otiot Tishrei is Reshit, the beginning. Reshit to Kol Hashanah, it's the head of the whole year. Bechesel Yom Chagenu says the moon is covered over, and just a sliver is revealed. Shad Achag, it's the only holiday, Shechodesh Mitchasabo, that the moon is covered over it. The moon is covered over right before Rosh Hashanah, and it's just a little sliver is revealed. Helen v'Kislev Levana, the moon was concealed, and afterward the moon becomes born anew. Shekolela, that includes everything that's after it. Therefore, this is called the Rosh, the head of the whole year. Now, everybody knows that the moon is not really born when it starts to shine. And everybody also knows that a baby, when he comes out of his mother's womb, he's not brand new. He was in his mother's womb growing up, and he was totally complete days before, I don't know, weeks before. I don't know how long. I'm not a big expert in it, but for sure, if the child was born a day earlier or a day later, or let's say 2 days earlier, 5 days earlier, it wouldn't make any difference to the child. The child is always there, already there. So the main thing is revelation. The child becomes revealed. The same thing with the moon. The moon was always there, but it becomes revealed. That's called birth. This is like the Jewish people. They are similar there. They count according to the moon, and they're similar to the moon. It says they're similar to the moon, and they count according to the moon. Atirim litchadesh kamota, that the Jewish people are going to be renewed, reborn like the moon. Hachirush shenasa ba'olam, the novelty, the renewal, which is made in the world by means of the service of the Jewish people. The Jewish people doing Torah and commandments in the world, that brings the world from concealment to be revealed. It brings the godliness in the world. It's like a birthday. It was always there, but it just becomes revealed. She'ula, that maybe we can also say, Shegam lachem, therefore, nikra chadshechem. It is called your months. Chirush shelachem, that you are making this renewal. The Jewish people, by doing Torah and commandments in the world, they make a new world. They give birth to the whole world. Ad until Shechirush Nasa Yisrael, and that also renews the Jewish people. The Jewish people, they also become born. Not not just that the Jewish people bring about a renewal in the world, but the whole essence, the whole nature of the Jewish people becomes renewed. By means of their revelation in the world, mitalim, the Jewish people, they become elevated to a higher level than what they were before. Kafishit Gala, like will be revealed, the Geula Mitit Veshlema, in the future redemption by means of David, Malchut Mashiach, by means of David, King Mashiach. So if so, the whole entire world depends on the Jewish people. But conversely, the Jewish people depend on the world. By the Jewish people improving the world, that improves them, that their true essence is revealed. And namely, they were brought to make a new world. And the whole world senses this. The whole, even now, they sense it. That's why the Jews are always in the news, and the Jews, they blame the Jews, they blame Jews this. No, nobody knows why. No, they can't explain it. They're looking around for all sorts of reasons, maybe because of this. I don't know why I hate the Jews, but I hate them for sure, right? Because they're just bad and they just do bad things. What bad things do they do? Don't worry, I'll find something. Everybody knows that Jews are special. There's something different about them. They just don't go away. For 2,000 years since the temple was destroyed, everyone's trying to destroy the Jews. And it just doesn't work. The people who destroyed, they're the ones they get destroyed themselves. It doesn't make any sense. Why? Says the Rebbe, because the Jews have something eternal. What is eternal in the Jews? That the Jews have the power of renewal. The Jews are here to make a new world. And like we said before, making it new doesn't mean that it wasn't there before. It was there, just becomes new. Like a baby is born, the baby was already there, but the birthday is a big thing. Yishlom, we can say that that's the whole idea of Rosh Chodesh, of the beginning of every month. It doesn't say the beginning of the month, this is the head of the month. This reveals in every single Jew the spark of Mashiach, which is inside of that Jew, because that's the whole job of the Jewish people, is to improve the world, and that can only be done through Mashiach. And every Jew has a spark of Mashiach within. That's the level of Yechida, that this is the spark of Judaism, the general spark of Judaism. That's called the soul of the Mashiach. This is revealed in all of existence, and everything that is done will be permeated by this level of Mashiach. We talked about it. That's the fifth level of the soul, the inner level of the Jewish soul, which is called Yechida. The Jewish soul has 5 levels to it: Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, and Yechida. Yechida, that's the Mashiach. That's the inner essence of godliness and of Judaism and good in the world. The main thing is that by means of this will be revealed the arrival of Mashiach. Simply, the Mashiach will come, Melech Beit David. There'll be a person called Melech HaMashiach, and he'll change the whole world. There'll be actually, this one person will embody all of the essence of the Jewish people. Just like in America, right? They have a president of the United States. That person, he embodies what an American is, right? Every country, right? This person, he embodies what Poland is or what Czechoslovakia is. This is a Polish person. This is a Russian. This is a... So Mashiach is going to embody what the Jewish people are. But even more, he's going to embody what God wants from the world. That's the whole point, to make a new world. The Inyan said, this is especially in Rosh Chodesh Kislev, the first day, the head of the month of Kislev, this is the idea of the renewal of all being a head, a birth. And this is especially in this month of Kislev. Kislev especially is the month that shows on renewal, on birth, more than any other month. Well, how is that? Let's see. Why? Because Kislev has this one special thing in it. First of all, let's first the name Kislev. The name Kislev itself indicates revelation, birth. Shekolel, the word Kislev has 2 words in it. 4 letters, 2 words. Kes and lo. Lev, but lo. Kes, this is covering. Kisei, kisui. More al helem v'kisui, covering up. B'chesed. The moon, like the moon is covered over. Lo, lamed vav, this is 36, numerical value of 36. And that is especially another word, which is 36, Eile, these. These you only say to something that you point to, is in front of you. Eile, these things. And this revelation, this is talking about Gilui, revelation. More the word these, right? These things show something you're talking about that's right in front of you. More al moled lavana, giving birth of the moon, like it's included afterwards. We said everything that's going to come afterwards, the moon is born, then afterwards comes everything else, right? Eile is revelation. Until it starts off the beginning of revelation a little bit, and then it becomes more and more revealed, like the birth of a person. The call pirte and yani, then afterwards it becomes revealed in all the 6 emotions, like they are included, each one with 6 emotions. So Lamed Vav is the numerical value of 36. 36 is 6 times 6. The number of emotions, there's the 10 sphirot, the number of emotions is 6. There's the 10 sphirot, 10 spheres, the 10 aspects of godliness. 3 of them are intellect, chachma, bina, v'das. 7 of them are emotions, but really the last of those emotions is not really an emotion. That's the expression of the emotions. That's called Malchut. So really there's 3 aspects of intellect of God, chachma, bina, v'das. And then there's 6 aspects of emotions. That's chesed and gevura, tiferet, netzach, hod, yesod. 6. Each one of those has 6 within. That's 36. The thing of emotions is to come out, to be revealed. God's intellect, that's concealed. Like a person is intellect, the other people can't see what you're thinking, what's in your mind, what you understand. But your emotions, the whole thing of the emotions are revealed, to reveal them. Same thing with God. God's hidden aspects, that's intellect. The revealed aspects, Eile, that's the emotions, 6 times 6. Hainu, namely, the month of Kislev shows that Kes is covered and Lamed Vav is revealed. This stresses on the whole idea of what Rosh Chodesh is, that it's the revelation of the moon from its concealment. V'yeterem, and even more than this, Kislev, that Kislev is stressed the idea of Rosh Chodesh more than any other Rosh Chodesh of all the other 11 months of the year. Rosh Chodesh usually is in a way of Bechesed, covering over, like Rosh Hashanah, that it means it's covered over. Bechesed. Beches Aleph, covered over the Aleph. Case Aleph. That the Aleph, that's godliness, which comes after the Kaf, this shows on just the beginning of the revelation. What was being covered up in all the other, what's being covered up in all the other months? What's being covered up? The letter Aleph. In other words, the beginning of God's revelation. Aleph is the first letter. So what's concealed is just the very beginning. That's all the other months. The Chesed. And Kislev is what's covered over. Eile, total revelation. Total revelation. As soon as the concealment is revealed on all the other months, then the month begins. As soon as the concealment is revealed on Kislev, is revealed Lamed Vav, 36, all of the emotions and the inside of the emotions as well. But we'll see what this means. This indicates on all the other months, it shows on what's being concealed. This is the beginning of revelation, which is not the case. The month of Kislev is what's being concealed is the Lamed Vav. And when the concealment goes away, then it's revealed the Lamed Vav, which is Eile, 36, total revelation of godliness. The revelation of every detail of all the emotions, that's the 36. When we say moving, from this we can understand. Maybe I can give you an example. I'm just making this example up. Let's go back to the example of Grandpa that got into a car accident, right? So he gets out of it, and they say, Grandpa's okay. And you look, and you see all these tubes and everything like that, and they say, listen, believe me, your grandfather's okay. It'll be a long recovery. Take out the tubes, and you'll see he'll begin to talk, he'll begin to walk, he'll begin to see, he'll begin to eat, little by little, but at least it's beginning. That's like all the other months. all the other months, the moon is covered over in the beginning, covered over, and little by little it can become revealed afterwards. Kiseh says keseh, covered over the aleph. The beginning is there; it's just covered over. The month of Kislev, it would be saying that grandpa got into an accident and now he's in all these tubes and everything that's covered over. Okay, ready? Let's take out all the tubes. And they just start pulling out tubes, and he gets out and he says, "Wow, that was really something. That was everything is revealed." That's the month of Kislev, indicating there is a type of godliness that can be revealed in such a way. That's essentially the idea of Mashiach. That suddenly, all of a sudden, everything just changes. Suddenly, there's just no selfishness in the world. There's no evil in the world. There's no falsity in the world. There's no hatred in the world. Suddenly, what was covered over the Lamed Vav, the Elah, all of the good emotions of God were concealed. Not like all the other months, what was concealed, just the beginning of revelation. Here, the total revelation. This stresses the idea of the Geula, the total redemption. That this is that the Jewish people are going to be renewed like the moon, both in Naliyoter in a much higher way than all of the other beginning of the months. Lo rak hatchalat hagila, not just the beginning, but the completion of revelation of godliness. What does this mean in a practical way? What does that mean in a practical way? Let's say all of the Jews in the world suddenly realize that they're Jews, and a Jew is a person that serves God, does what God, and what does God want? He wants that this world should be a perfect place, to perfect the world according to God. Let's say all the Jews in the world. So all the Jews in the world start putting mezuzahs on their door, and all the Jews in the world, they start keeping Shabbat, and all the Jews in the world, they eat kosher food, all the Jews in the world, right? So what's going to happen? So what everybody thinks, that's going to happen, it's going to be anti-Semitism. Don't ask, it's going to be awful. All the going this. Listen, now there's anti-Semitism. They hate everybody. If we don't, even if we're totally against Judaism, they hate us, right? It makes no difference, right? They hate us. So maybe let's try something new. Let's try to be brave. Let's try to just do what we're supposed to do and not look at the world. Let's do what we're supposed to do. The world is representing bad, concealment, lies, cheating. Right here, the whole United Nations, they hate Israel for absolutely no reason. Absolutely no reason. They have no proof whatsoever. Right? They send their messengers in there to look for some sort of a proof, to make up things. They can't find anything. Right? The whole world hates us. Right? Why do they hate us? Because maybe they hate us because we're not who we're supposed to be. Because we hate ourselves. We're not. So as soon as the Jewish people act differently, then the world will act differently. What are the Jews supposed to do? Just be themselves. Just be themselves. There's all of these Jews that are leftists and this, but they're proud that they're Jews. They know that they're Jews. I am a Jew for Hamas. I am a Jew for this. He's a Jew. He doesn't want to say he's not a Jew. He doesn't want to deny that he's a Jew. I am a Jew. A Jew doesn't have to do commandments, but I'm a Jew. Why? What's so important? How are you a Jew? What makes you a Jew? You have a nose that's Jewish. You have a DNA that's Jewish. There's nothing absolutely, according to science, that you can test to be a Jew. That thing that there's DNA is a lie. It's a bluff. It's not so. It can't be. What makes him? He doesn't know. He doesn't know. Says the Rebbe, I know. That you're a Jew means that you want to serve the creator of the universe and make the world a better place. And as soon as you decide to do that, then God starts doing big changes in your life, in the world. That's the idea. Now it's covered over. As soon as you reveal it, then it becomes Eileh. The whole business becomes revealed. Suddenly a Jew, everybody knows what a Jew is. Jews are people that they serve the creator of the universe. Who says there's the creator of the universe? Who says there's such a thing? The Jews. Look at these guys. They're all putting mezuzahs on their door. They're putting tefillin on. Right? They're all crazy. It says, yeah, that's right. They're all crazy. But life is crazy. Where do you get your life from? How is the world being created? The Big Bang is not crazy. Where did the Big Bang come from? That's not crazy. Right? The whole thing doesn't make any sense. The things that do make sense, if you look at the basis of them, also doesn't make sense. Right? How does that make sense? The sense, that's what that controls. Where does your sense come from? Where does sense come from? Logic come from? The whole thing doesn't make any sense. So you can say, okay, that's just the way things are. You can say yes, but the Jewish people say no. The Jewish people say that the true sense and the true meaning and the true blessing of the world is just covered over, but it's there. And our idea is to reveal it. And when we reveal it, it's called giving birth. It's a new thing. That's the idea of the Geula. The Inyan of Geula, especially this idea of the redemption, is especially in the holidays of Kislev. What are the holidays of Kislev? The holidays of Kislev are a Yom Tov of the Yom Tov that it's called Yom Tov of Chanukah. By means of the Chotma, at the end of the month of Kislev. The end of the month of Kislev is Chanukah. Why Chanukah? Because was anointed the altar in the Holy Temple. B'zaman Beit Sheni in the Second Temple, that it was anointed, it was inaugurated anew. When did it happen, the whole miracle of Chanukah? In the middle of the Second Temple, somewhere around in the middle of the Second Temple. Until the main thing of Chanukah will be in the Third Temple, in the total redemption that we're going to have any second now by means of the Moshiach, which is hinted at the idea of the 8 days of Chanukah compared to the 7 days of all of the other holidays, Pesach, Sukkot. The number 8 candles of Chanukah compared to the 7 candles which were in the Holy Temple. Because to show that there's something above normal. 7 is nature, and 8 is above nature. This is the novelty which is made by the Jewish people when adding on in the completion of the creation of the world, which the world was made in 7 days, and the Jewish people are here to add another light. Like it's known that the number 8 is attached to the days of the Mashiach. But Dorot Acharonim, in the last generations, there was also other holidays also, which was the holiday of Yutet Kislev. The holiday of Yutet Kislev, that's what's called the Rosh Hashanah. That's called the New Year's Day of Chassidut. Yutet Kislev. That's the day that the first Rebbe of Chabad got out of prison, where he was put by his enemies, prison. He sat for 53 days. Then there's another holiday in Kislev. That's the holiday of the second Rebbe of Chabad, which happened on Yud Kislev. This is after. That's the Yud Kislev. This is the revelation of the oil of the Torah. Yechira Shabbatorah. That's Chassidut, Chabad. And by means of spreading out our Atimar, that's the Mashiach. And then it says Matzati David. It says that King David is he said, an unexpected gift. He found King David. God said, I found King David, something new, like the moon. And that's what Chassidut does. It's supposed to reveal the novelty of the Jewish soul that's concealed. Well, the Hosif and to add on that we've already received, it's already been received, accepted, and has spread out the teachings of Chassidut, and also by the Jewish people, that the month of Kislev is called Chodesh HaGeula, the month of redemption. Why? Because the first Rebbe of Chabad, he got out of prison. That's when really Chassidut Chabad really started. His teachings were expanded tremendously. This began in Rosh Chodesh Kislev, the first month of redemption, first day of the month of redemption, Kislev. This is in addition to the fact that every month has the beginning of the month is the moon starts to shine, which is compared to the Jewish people. But especially Rosh Chodesh Kislev, which that's what was covered over and what's revealed, Lamed Vav. Lamed Vav, we said, is 36. The emotions of God are revealed in the world. This indicates on the novelty of the Jewish people, that the Jewish people are going to be renewed like the moon, especially with the arrival of David Malka Mashiach, with the Mashiach. So Mashiach is going to be somebody that's going to be like the moon. He's going to reveal what there is, and he's going to then cause this in the Jewish people to be revealed like the moon. And this will bring about also in the world, that the world will start shining. Everyone in the world will be happy to be alive and to be active and proactive in the world, fixing up according to the Torah, as we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. Okay. Now, because I have a